Hello, besties. This is the podcast Best for Me, where we validate narcissist abuse, survivors and daughters with narcissist mothers, and anyone who has been in a narcissist relationship or has been emotionally abused. I'm Shayla, and the narcissist in my life is my mother. This month is Child Abuse Prevention Month, so I've been talking about it. I've talked about my personal experience being abused by my narcissist mother, and I've shared the child abuse statistics as reported by the National Children's Alliance. And today I wanted to make sure we are aware of the signs that a child is being abused and what forms of abuse are inflicted upon children. Children are not always able to tell you when they are being hurt, and especially when the person is a family member or someone that plays a significant role in their life, like a parent. This is why we need to know the signs so we can protect children from the harm being inflicted upon them. First form of abuse is pretty obvious. Physical abuse. Physical abuse can be detected when a child has bruises, nail scratches, and marks in places where they shouldn't be, like the child's face, back, and neck. Young children play and hurt themselves all the time. Injuries from play I would expect to be the knees, forehead, and the experts say child abuse is said to be found typically on soft areas such as buttocks, back, legs, neck, and thighs. Second form of abuse is emotional abuse, which is what I have experienced by my mother. Emotional abuse is typical of any narcissist. Being emotionally abused includes both verbal and emotional assault, such as continually belittling or berating a child, as well as isolating, ignoring, or rejecting a child. The third one is sex abuse. A child or someone who is a minor may display that they are being sexually abused if you see their behavior change around certain individuals. This can involve sexual contact, such as intentional sexual touching, oral genital contact, or intercourse. This can also involve non-contact sexual abuse of a child, such as exposing a child to sexual activity or pornography, observing or filming a child in a sexual manner, sexual harassment of a child, or prostitution of a child, including sex trafficking. The fourth one I found surprising. It's medical abuse. The Mayo Clinic, where I found this data, claims medical abuse is making a false claim about an illness the child has, causing the child to have unnecessary medical care. I thought this was strange. I would assume that not getting children the medical care they need would constitute medical abuse. I know in my situation, I never went to the dentist as a child. I'm a mother too, so I know the difference between not being able and not caring. The last form of abuse happens to be the most prevalent of all types of child abuse and the most reported to authorities. That is neglect. Neglect could be failure to provide adequate food, clothing, shelter, clean living conditions, affection, supervision, education, dental or medical care. Now let's look at the signs of child abuse so we know what to look for. Let's break it down. Physical abuse, 1. Unexplained injuries, 2. Injuries that don't fit the explanation, 3. Injuries that aren't compatible with a child's developmental ability. Sexual abuse, 1. Sexual behavior or knowledge inappropriate of a child's age. 2. Statements made by the child that they have been sexually abused. You have to believe them when they tell you this, and so many times the child is not believed. 3. Genital or anal pain, bleeding or injury. Emotional abuse, 1. Social withdrawal or a loss of interest or enthusiasm. 2. Decrease in school performance or loss of interest. 3. Avoidance of certain situations, such as riding the school bus or going to school. I have a vivid memory of when I was a child and how I would cry, scream, and throw fits when it was time to leave my grandparents' home. My grandmother would babysit me at times, and when my mother would come to pick me up, I would beg to stay and would never want to leave. My home life with my mother was miserable, and I never wanted to go home. Neglect. 1. Poor school attendance or performance. I remember being in I think it was the second grade, when my teacher asked me why did I always miss Mondays. I told her I didn't know, when I really did. My mother would have to recuperate from the weekend from drinking and wouldn't be able to wake up Monday morning to do my hair and get me ready for school, so she would keep me home. I missed school mostly Mondays during the most formative years of my life. 2. Hoarding or stealing food. This could be a sign the child is not being fed meals. 3. Lack of clothing or supplies to meet physical needs. 4. Poor growth. Now there are signs to look for in parents too. How does the parent act towards their children? What are their responses when you ask about the child? Do the parents: 1. Consistently belittle or berate the child, describing the child with negative terms such as worthless, dumb, or ugly. 2. Severely limit the child's contact with others. If you listened to my last episode, you know I told you how my mother wouldn't answer the door or the phone, and my brother and I were not allowed to do so either. 3. Blames the child for the problems in the family. 4. Shows little concern for the child. 5. Unable to recognize physical or emotional distress in the child. In my book, You're Not My Mother, You're a Narcissist, I talk about my childhood and the mistreatment and abuse I endured. The abuse did not end when I left home and became an adult. I talk about the narcissist abuse I experienced by my mother as an adult, after leaving home, later getting married and having a child of my own, until I decided to go no contact in my 40s. I wish I had gone no contact a lot sooner. If there are children in your life, maybe a niece or nephew, or maybe your friend has kids, or maybe your child has a friend that you suspect is being abused, or you may know for a fact that a child is being abused, we are legally obligated to report the abuse. The number to do this is the National Child Abuse Hotline. You can call or text the words combined as one word, Childhelp, at the phone number 1-800-422-4453 for 24/7 confidential support and information. Now I'm putting this number out there, but don't rush to judgment. We want to protect a child from abuse, but we must also respect another parent's parenting. Child Protective Services has many cases on file that are unfounded because they were not able to find any abuse in the home after someone called with an anonymous tip. I am a mother, and when my son was very young and in elementary school, he would pick up his dad's beer bottle caps that his dad would leave laying around. My son would put them in his book bag and carry to school. So I'm assuming the teacher putting things in his backpack saw a bottle cap or two and reported that my son, who was a second grader, was either drinking or being exposed to drinking alcohol. This was not true, but my husband and I were investigated. They would not reveal where they got their assumptions, and when the caseworker told me what was reported, I asked, why would they think my child is drinking? Did they smell alcohol on him? I knew this not to be true, but I wanted to know, where was this allegation coming from? They wouldn't tell me because callers are anonymous, but they closed the case. My child did not drink, but he did pick up bottle caps and other things as well. My son is autistic, and I was the parent that would go to school and sit in the classroom to make sure my son was getting the best education for his needs. I wasn't an unfit mother, and my husband was not unfit either. They were totally wrong about the kind of parents we were, so just be sure and don't rush to judgment. Have your best day being you. This is Child Abuse Prevention Month. You can get my ebook for $5.99 or the audio for $7.99. Your purchase would be a big therapeutic help for me, and you would also be helping the show as well. This is Best for Me, and I'm Shayla.